natural tortoise keepers here. Brought home a new batch of Hermanns tortoises. These are some interesting looking characters. It was essentially all or nothing. I have to take 2 males to get a female, and I really only want females. You guys know I'm almost at my capacity for tortoises this year with the redfoots, the babies, the growing group of Hermanns that I have. It's going to be a little bit more. I'm not going to say it's too much. It's just more. But yeah, these characters are pretty wild. I just threw in a few things here, as you can tell. Like this is an old dish that I just tossed and I didn't clean it last time. I just wanted to give these guys some water. I threw in some choir. It's obviously not very deep. I need to get more depth, but I've got some good lights. Quality halogen flood bulb. You can see how it floods the light. And UV. That is nothing like tubular UV. But it's pretty much the worst way you can keep tortoises is 1 female and 2 males. And this guy is the meaner of the males. That one is the prettier, if you ask me. He's very dark. He's got a very swooping male shell. Both these males are available. They look great for what they are. I did a little stool sample. I've been doing my own worm tests. I'm not sure if I ever uploaded that video or not, but I've been doing my own worm tests on these new tortoises. So it saves me $100 each tortoise. If you're just getting a new tortoise and you're introducing it to another tortoise, the worst thing you can do is keep them in pairs. Or worse yet, 2 males to 1 female. Like, nor in the animal kingdom will you see really that happening. And forgive me for my voice. I'm sicker than a dog. I'm dead tired after driving to get these guys in -20 weather. These characters at this age should be brood mating like all my other adults, but this year I'm not gonna. I will just, pardon me, I'm working on rehoming. The males, if you're interested, send a PM if you're in Canada. Transportation is available. And then this female here, I'm keeping. We'll show her off here now. We've got some split scutes. That's from incubating too hot. She's obviously got some pyramiding, a little bit of MBD. But in Canada, there's a shortage of female tortoises by a landslide. And if there's one available, I'm going to rehome her and give her the best life and work on clearing up the shell the best I can. This doesn't affect her breeding or creation. MBD is caused by humans. It's not genetic. It can't be passed on. And even then, I've heard some people with MBD tortoises, other tortoise produces more eggs. And in my opinion, I would imagine that shortens their lifespan. You can't control your egg production. They're going to lay eggs. They're like chickens. They're going to make and lay eggs. Being with a male is fertile or not fertile. Because in the past, people have commented, oh, she has MBD. Why would you breed her? It's like, well, all her other functions still work. It's just that her bone density is a little bit less. And her inner shell, obviously, she won't be able to hold a whole lot of eggs. So as long as she's able to pass eggs, then we're hunky-dory, or else she gets spayed, I guess. What else? Yeah, the worst thing you can really do is keep them like this. These 2 males have spent the entire day. I'm upstairs. I can hear them banging because righty here is banging lefty over there, like headbutt, ramming, banging. And the female's just trying to escape them. And so while they're in quarantine here, until I rehome them, I prefer to sell males individually as pets if I end up with them. I've ended up with lots of them because that's how people are. Well, if you're not taking the male, you're not taking the female. Well, I'm really only interested in females. I'm a breeder after all. I'm trying to make something of this on top of obviously teaching others how to feed for free and care for these beautiful creatures. And if I can find a good home and set them up with a setup, then I have no problem with rehoming. There's no problem with rehoming to me. With a 100-year pet, chances are it's going to have to get rehomed at least once. Dogs, on the other hand, lifetime commitment. If you get rid of your golden retriever or your Great Dane when it's not cute anymore, I kind of do think you're a piece of work. But if you're going to play with tortoises, they're not for everyone, and a lot of times people don't realize how long the lifetime is of commitment. To me, it's like brushing my teeth, feeding these guys and checking on them. It's not an issue. It's to me, it's just part of my life. I can't imagine not having these. It's no different than I can't imagine not having my dog, my kid, my wife. I really do like her coloring though. They were kept in very dusty soil. Like when I got these guys, like the dust was on my hands, and I bathed them obviously first. I was fortunate enough to steal a stool sample of 2 of them. And so from there, if you haven't seen my stool sample video, my worm testing video, if I haven't uploaded that, I'm not even sure at this point. I've made so many videos. You essentially do a stir up of the stool in liquidated oil, like coconut oil, then strain out all the thick particulations, and then put it into a float and then a slide and look at it underneath the microscope. My lovely Shelby got me a microscope, and it's I don't know where she got it or how much she paid for it, but it's going to pay itself off with all these tortoises, because I do a worm test at least every year, pre-hibernation with the other ones. And I really should make more videos of some of the stuff that I do. I just find it's hard to do it. I'm still a phone YouTuber at this point. I'm not running a GoPro. But as you can tell here, the female is just not going to get a chance to relax. This male is going to go and dominate her. He's always crawling above her. The 2 of them I saw taking turns biting her hind and front legs, and they're just spinning circles around her. So she's obviously stressed, not getting proper food, not getting proper calcium intake or something. This is the guy that I purchased these off of. I would be at minimum her 3rd home. Chances are more homes. And because she has that split scoot and she's not cute, people may not like her. But according to him, he says she's made some eggs and whatever. You're part of the group now. She'll join the gals in the summertime after quarantine. I'm going to quarantine her up here all winter long while I work on rehoming these guys. Usually doesn't take me very long because I don't price males at female prices, and I usually try and sell males for either cheap or as cheap as babies. With the intention of a quick sale. Sorry guys, sometimes I have to catch my breath. As you can tell, that split scoot, it's not as cute as a nice traditional shell. But she's one of my lightest females, and I think we're going to call her Phyllis after such a wonderful Phyllis that's in my life, because you know me, I love naming the girls old gal names and the guys names of movement usually, but these characters I'll probably just call like Bert and Ernie so I can remember them in my books. All my tortoises, as soon as I get them, they get bathed, weighed, worm count. I usually, like both these guys, I gave them beak trims. You'll be able to check my shorts for their before and afters. This character here, he has quite a different bite. His nose is rather extended and his bottom jaw is tucked in, which is kind of the opposite of MBD. MBD jaws are usually very wide, which this kind of is, but they're even wider than that, and they go like more like pit bull or bulldog. Like I think that's called an overbite when your jaws, bottom teeth goes over the top. So that's more MBD. This one's just plain deformed a little bit, but we're working on them. I'm going to file that back a little bit more and see if we can shape it in. And as he eats off my terracotta there, these characters cleaned up their jade plant that I started them off today, because they're, from what I understand, used to pellets and lettuce like every other one that I rehomed. So we gave him a jade plant treat and a little bit of aloe vera that I had kicking around. Tomorrow we're going to be switching to mallow, pansy viola, plantain dried mix that I have been building, as you can see in my other videos. You can tell these 2 are males because they have rather draped, I can't reach them because I'm let's see here, there we are. This character here, I gave him a bit of a beak trim, and he's kind of in the same boat as the other guy. There's quite that overhang. So Bert and Ernie, I think, is what we're going with these 2 guys for the time that I have them. I've got them listed on Facebook, on Kijiji, on a few different groups. So hopefully someone is looking for a pet, because I'd prefer tortoises to go to pet, like just pet owners, instead of like breeders, more or less, because to be honest with you, Canadian breeding is abysmal. And I'm hoping to raise the standard. So thanks so much for listening with me bringing these tortoises home. My next task is as well adding more choir so we can get a little more depth in here. I just threw in what I had. I could grab a few more clay pots from my shed because everything's kind of winterized right now. I didn't plan on this. This guy messaged me on Thursday, made a plan with him on Friday, and then this morning I went and picked him up on a Saturday. So yeah. What else? I like having a water dish that they can walk in and out of and get some water, because it's just, they need to be able to almost like lay in it to drink it properly, it seems like. Obviously here I've got a membrane that separates the wood. And here, look at this. This is the start of the ramming with these two idiots, Bert and Ernie. And this is why you shouldn't just have two males together. This is why your tortoise doesn't need a friend. They do so well on their own. And these two are relentless. I can hear this upstairs. And so I might have to separate them, because I don't know. It seemed like this guy kept them together. It sounded like he kept them together. And I can't imagine why she hasn't been prosperous with her eggs, according to him, because he says they haven't been fertile, or it was poor communication, honestly, through a sales app. What else can I say about these characters? Tomorrow morning, like before I feed them, they're gonna get another soak, and I am going to give all of them get a shot of a probiotic, which I always use as I find that does kind of fire up their digestive system when they're only used to like pellets and lettuce. As well as I give them a shot of calcium concentrate. It's a ratio mix that you mix with water, and you give them a shot of Reno. And I've got a little baby syringe from when my kid was in the hospital, and it works. Like, look at the activity of these guys. They're definitely not suffering of worm counts, so I don't think he was a fruit feeder. And he had some friends with good advice in his life, but they are relentless. They will not leave her alone. So we're gonna work on that. And please just stay tuned with these characters. I'm gonna be doing more tortoise introductions and just showing more of my life with them. But he's beautiful. He's so dark and black. I don't know my locales of Hermanns tortoises, because in Canada they're all interbred. We're landlocked. We can't import. We can't export. What we have is what we get. So with that comes Easterns and Westerns and Hercs, just mixed. But yeah, like 6x3 is a small space for one tortoise. So having 3 in here is a little bit crowded when there's males present. 3 gals, no problem, I find. But the males change the dynamic greatly. Thanks for tuning in, listening to me ramble on. I just want to talk tortoises. Wish I had more people that would listen to me or talk with me about it, but I'm kind of just my own nerd. Later, everyone.